G'day everybody, Craig Cobb here, aka Trader Cobb. Fantastic to be here with you. Hope you've had a great week. Let's kick off what I'm seeing in the markets on this Tuesday. I think it's going to be one of the more volatile sessions for global markets. Why? Trump's most recent deadline and threats are about to either, be executed or he's going to knock it back again. Either way, I think markets are going to react. Now, I know it's not crypto, but crude oil has been pumping again. And again, it's the same methodology that I trade for crypto. Don't forget, I was trading 12 years before I even got into Bitcoin and trading things like crude oil, commodities, bonds, stocks, FX, all the same strategies that I teach in my crypto trading class. Okay, so they're applicable to all markets. Pulled back into the cradle zone, really strong move out. And as you can see, it's a very strong daily trend. A couple of days ago, up 11%. That ain't good. That ain't good. And that's not saying, this is not an oil market that is suggesting that the war is about to end anytime soon. The other thing I want to point out as well is that ES, it's been trending really well to the downside, pulling back into this zone. It's come outside of it for the time being. We'll have to wait and see. And of course, all of this pushes towards Bitcoin, kind of heading lower, in my opinion. I really don't think the knock-on effects of high oil prices and this war has really hit the market yet. Yes, we've seen some declines, but I've been talking about the S&P 500. If you're on my free newsletter or on my social media, you will have heard me speak about this pullback that we have just seen way before. I was calling for a 10% pullback from the highs back into this cradle zone well before any war occurred, and I called it bang on. This is a chart that's pulled back nicely. Is this going to be a quick blip and then a rip higher? I don't know. I think a lot of this depends on what's going to happen in the next 24 hours. But now I've talked about the rest of the world and why it matters. I'm going to look across now at crypto because this is important. I want to show you these weekly charts. Bitcoin remains unchanged from a weekly point of view. I've been bearish for quite some time. This weekly downtrend, lower high, lower low, lower high. Can it push to a lower low? I certainly indeed hope so, because I want to be buying at lower prices. I'm currently sitting in cash with Bitcoin at the moment. So we did see last week closing up 4.56%. I covered a lot of detail around this in my free newsletter. By the way, go to the growmeco.com to get onto that free newsletter if you're not already on it. And look, nothing's changed. Yes, last week was up, but 1 week doesn't change anything for me as far as the chart goes. The one thing that would change things is if we could break up through 76,053. That's this level here. If we break up through the high of that weekly candle, we would have a higher low then to a higher high, and things start to shift a little bit at that point in time. Now, that might not mean that we go straight back to roaring bull market, but it might just mean that we start to see this monthly start to play out and slow down and get a little bit messy and make us ask some questions. As far as the rest of the market goes, across the top 10 to give us a good indication of where everything looks. Ethereum, well, it had a strong week last week, up 6.45%. Same thing, higher low potentially available here if it breaks up through 23.85. But for the time being, the downtrend remains in play, lower high, lower low, pull back into this cradle zone, and the probability of a move to the downside is definitely there. Binance has already done so, pulling back in and moving away. So that's all markets looking bearish right now. Cardano, very sideways. Not much going on there with Cardano. A little bit up, a little bit down. Nothing major, but it is down. Doge, sitting around some support here, but again, a weekly downtrend. Solana, bearish candle broke the lows, pushing down again in a weekly downtrend. XRP, the same. Tron, the only one that's sort of bucking the trend along with Hyperliquid, with it having a very strong push over the last sort of 6-7 weeks. Last week down 0.84, currently down this week 1.19. We got on a Bitcoin Cash with a lower high here, pushing to a lower low, and it looks very, very ripe for a leg down, a significant leg down. Why? Well, we've taken out this low here. We have gone from a lower high to a lower low, and a chart like this really does scream to me, likelihood is we move lower and potentially at a rate of knots. This is the sort of chart I'll be looking for shorts in, like I was last week. And Hyperliquid, here we back to the weekly, beautiful pullback, a really nice trend with a fantastic trend, yeah, higher low, higher high, pulling back. Now, last week I was away for a bit of it. I took my children camping for Easter. And I wasn't around for too much. I was sort of Tuesday, Wednesday. I left on Thursday. But what I did find was this, and I pointed it out to my Discord community. This trade here, little bearish candle in that cradle zone, and a fantastic move down. Now, if you were in this trade, that's 5-1, by the way. Risk $1,000 to make 5,000. If you were still in this trade, your stop would be down here, and you would currently be well up on that. I know a lot of people that might be on social media suggesting you've got to trade often, and they're pointing at trades left, right, and center. Not me. You're looking for quality, not quantity. If you get quantity with quality, you generally have a really cyclical downtrend or bear market, or a really cyclical uptrend. Now, uptrends tend to trend up. Bull markets tend to trend better with cyclicity, more calm, more established, and easier to get lots of entries. Bear markets, often you're looking to snipe in, grab a position, and you get a decent move like this. Breakouts are great in bear markets as well. That's why I teach a breakout strategy and a continuation strategy so that you don't miss out. Anyway, profits are still there to be had. It's less is more at the moment. Manage that risk and keep your eyes on what is going on around the world. Look, at the end of the day, show me the chart and I'll tell you the news. Trade quality trends and you will find yourself around for the long run, like me. Been doing it for 21 years. You can do it. If you've got any questions, reach out, hit me up, go to thegremico.com and join that free newsletter. Have a fantastic week, guys. Bye for now.